Hello, everybody. I am AngryBird. Welcome to a new Steel Division League cast, and today we have the other semi-final of the Steel Division League Season 5 Division 1. It is uuuu versus Nilla. So I know I spent a long time in the previous video kind of doing a little bit of build up for you guys. This video I'm going to keep it much more simple, but I will quickly just run through it again just so anyone who's joining us can see the difference. So the two guys in this matchup, uuuu finished top of Group B, so he got an automatic bye through to the semi-finals, and Nilla finished second in Group A. Nilla then faced Solo Wing Pixie in the quarterfinals and managed to win that matchup 2-0 and goes through to face uuuu in this match in the semi-finals. The previous game that we had, Gonzo versus Karma, Gonzo won that one 2-0, or won the semi-final 2-0 and has gone through to the final. Today's game between uuuu and Nilla will find out who joins Gonzo in the final. Okay, so uuuu today, he is on the left hand side in blue, and he is playing the first Blindarter Romanian mare. He's on Vanguard income. Have a little quick look at this deck. I won't spend too long looking at the deck though. 75 units of infantry. From my experience of playing uuuu before, he is very much a similar player to Nilla actually. Very much a Vanguard rush player. Likes to rush down his opponents, get that decisive victory in the first engagement in A phase, and push on from there. Very similar playstyle to Nilla actually. So I think these two players are very similar. We see the majority of the tanks are Panzer IVs. Just the Romanian versions really. So the T4s, I believe the TA is it's still a Panzer IV, I believe, but it's got heat shells as well, I think. I might be a little bit wrong on that. We'll take a look in the game anyway when we get them out. But yeah, I'm showing a little bit of rusty knowledge here. The big gun on the side of the Romanians is the Rosita 75mm. That's a fantastic gun, one of the best anti-tank guns in the game. So he does have that to hold up, to kind of fall back on as an anti-tank weapon. But one of the interesting things about this deck, or the most interesting thing about this deck to me, are the recon units. He brings in the two-man recon squads in A phase on the bikes, so he obviously likes to rush recon units deep, or as far into the battlefield as he can. And then in B phase he brings in the artillery observers, which we don't really see anyone use really. So again, the two-man artillery observers, it's not like they've got fantastic weapons on them, and although they could be used with the radio, but he only has the 81mm half-track mortars, so it's kind of surprising there really, if I'm honest. So we'll have to see how he uses those units really. Let's switch over to Nilla. Today he is on the right hand side in red. He's playing Grupa Turina, that not a lot of players actually play really nowadays. He's on Vanguard income, same as always for Nilla. And like I say, these two players very similar. They like to rush down early on, get a very quick decisive victory. No messing about, and you'll notice in Nilla's deck in particular, no C-phase cards whatsoever. I think T-34s versus those Panzer IVs on the side of uuuu, the T-34s will lose out to 2-star Panzer IVs generally, so you need to kind of trade 2 to 1 you need to kind of fight 2-1 with the T-34s against those Panzer IV-Hs. So we'll have to see how those engagements go. I think Nilla would be better off using his M42 guns kind of fairly, fairly often. Not quite the word I was looking for, but liberally, there we go, fairly liberally, using those M42 guns across the battlefield and get some side shots into those Panzer IV-Hs, because those M42 guns, they've got the APCR ammunition, so they can definitely get some key criticals. Nilla's got a lot of anti-tank guns though, and I almost feel like he could have dropped a card of the B-Phase ZIS-2 AT guns, because I don't think he's going to come up, well, he isn't going to come up against anything that his tanks or his other AT guns can penetrate. Those ZIS-2 guns are usually there for the big heavy tanks, but he isn't going to come up against those. So I feel like he could have almost dropped a B-Phase card of those ZIS-2 guns and put another card of M42 guns in his deck. Very cheap AT guns that could easily, snipe a Panzer IV-H and a side shot if you've got them spread all over the battlefield. But that's just my observation, really. Right, let's get the game going. So, on the left-hand side in blue, let's just recap. We have Quadriu playing the first Blindata Romanian Mare on Vanguard Income. And on the right-hand side in red, we have Nilla playing Group Turina on Vanguard Income. So it looks like Nilla is making a decisive push into the south, and Quadriu is a little bit more spread out than I expected him to be. Perhaps a little bit more concentrated up on the north, but it looks like it's Nilla that's making the play, really. But Quadriu has some tanks coming. In fact, he's going into the same spot that Nilla is trying to attack into. So this is going to be very interesting. The two Ognamachiki push forwards and try and take out the MG34 for Nilla, and it looks like he is going to do that, but unfortunately doesn't really have the remaining troops to kind of rush through and capitalize on that. But that is a pickup at least. The PTRS 41 squad is going to go down to the Vanatore Moto. We get an instant engagement between the M42 guns and the TA, and you can see, look, no movement up in the north. So Quadriu completely concentrating on his micro down south, and the same for Nilla as well. No real movement from the squads that are loaded up north yet. The MG34, I think it was, yeah, surrendered to the Ognamachiki down south. We've got a couple of T4s in the town. I believe they are all Panzer IVs, but some of them have heat shells on. And the TA, well, the TA is dead now. You see how the M42 guns can do the job. We'll perhaps get a look at the TA in the future. I just want to check that it is the Panzer IV, not a Stug, but I'm pretty sure it is. Here comes Nilla's T-34s moving en masse. It looks like it's going to be a big engagement here between the T4s and the T-34s, and that will certainly steer how this goes early on into this matchup. The PTRS 41 squad still moving up through the town. You can see those two men just making their way up through the central road, trying to snipe any transports that come their way. Nilla pushing forwards with those T-34s. The M2A1 is going to engage the Vanatore Moto, and the T-34 is looking for the engagement onto the T4s. Who's going to win out in this little matchup? Looks like the PTRS 41 does go down there. Ognamachiki pushing forwards. T-34 start engaging the Panzergrenz further back and forward for Quadriu. He's now pushing his T4s forward, so he wants the engagement here between these two squads. T4 pokes out. Nilla's backing off. He really doesn't want this engagement now. Who's going to come out the victor in this matchup? Down goes the T-34, so Nilla uses a tank, but I don't think he's out of it right now. He manages to... Oh, another T-34 backs away before the T-34-76 can get into the light forest and into cover. So Quadriu definitely deals with those two tanks pretty effectively right now. And Nilla's not out of it yet, though. He loses two T-34s, but two T-34s is not the end of the world for him. So it's still not a decisive engagement early on. Nilla has a 15-9 here, capturing this flag in the very far south, but that's not kind of over the top. He also gets 2 flags in the centre to capture the 15-9. A little bit of movement up north now. The TACM T60s come through the light forest. The M42 gun should be able to deal with that fairly effectively. The Panzergrens come to the edge of the forest. That's kind of perfect engagement range for Panzergrens. Are going to be able to engage anything at close range, and Quadriu does pick up the flag up north. But Nilla, like I say, does have the 15-9. The T-34 does edge forwards. I think that's a bit of a mistake here. 2 against 1, yeah, the T-4s do take out that T-34-76, so I don't know whether Nilla realised he was actually in range of those T-34s, but that felt like a bit of a mistake. In comes the M42 guns, and like I said, the M42 guns I feel like can do more of a job against the Panzer IVs early than the T-34s. In comes the IAR-81 trying to strike down onto that M42 gun. The others do unload there for Nilla, and he's going to push his M42 guns forwards en masse. Down goes one of the M42 guns to the IAR. That's a 230, I think, 274 kilogram bomb, so certainly a pretty good loadout. The stroke is not quite unloaded from Nilla yet. Certainly microing all over the battlefield and leaving a few troops in the transports right now for a little bit of time, and that's giving Quadriu the opportunity to take them out in those transports. The Strokey do push forward, try and reinforce this town, and actually this could be a really nice movement, because if they have got that 80 grenades on them and they can take out a couple of T4s, then this is really nice. They do have the AT grenade, but he's still going to have to move them forward. Surrenders the enemy unit in there, and the Strokey go into the building. I'm not quite sure he's in range. No, he's not. He's going to have to push forward over the open ground. Both of them trying to get the grenade kills onto the T4s. There goes the AT grenade, gets 1 kill, but the other one gets pinned down up north. I'm sure he'll try and use the Strokey to push back up north and get the other kills here. The M2A1 half track at the same time covering through. A couple of IL-2KRs trying to cover off against the IAR attack. That came up in against the M42 guns further down south. Strokey's pushed into the building, but Quadriu pushes a little bit down south. Kind of surprised Nilla hasn't hopped out. Here he comes, trying to get that grenade shot onto the T4. Will he be able to get it? He's currently sat in the open. Not quite sure what happened there. Now he's pushed forward. There goes the grenade. Should get the kill. He's pinned down. Oh, he's surrendered and he doesn't get the kill. Very unfortunate for Nilla. Very unfortunate there for Nilla. And the remaining units in there, is it going to be enough to hold off? A couple of Hotchkiss come in to try and take care of the IL-2KR. The M42 guns are on efficient shot for now. Looks like the APCR shells have been used, and Nilla's going to wait until those tanks get closer to use the AP shells. Looks like some movement up north. Sturmoviki Rocks made it into the forest, but the IAR takes care of those. The other infantry's pushing forwards. Nilla has nothing in reserve right now. Look at this M42 gun all the way forward. So Nilla very, 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 very aggressive, even with his AT guns. And I can't help but feeling this infantry's going to go down. It's going to leave his entire northern flank completely exposed. Nothing coming in there to reinforce. And if you look at actually Quadriu's line right now to Nilla's line, the south fairly even, you could say, but in the north right now, Quadriu really has his units, and I believe most of these Panzergrens were called in right from the start. He really has his units remaining intact. Nilla still has the flag advantage, but if Quadriu can exploit this gains in the north, then he's definitely got the opportunity right now to push hard on. The IL-2KRs come strafing in to attack those Panzergrens and nearly take out a full strength squad. But look at the T-34s, Nilla trying to rush through the centre, trying to envelop this centre town and perhaps even push through with his infantry there. Wow. I mean, both of these players just push hard in A phase and really try and kind of overwhelm the enemy. So both players are kind of used to the tactics being employed here. Look at these Vanatori de Care pushing forwards with the Panzerschreck squad. They could well take out a few T-34s in the centre of this map, and if he can, well, that can keep Quadriu's tanks intact. TA engagement against the T-34-76. Will Quadriu be able to take out that tank? Yes, he can. It is, I think, a Stug. Yeah, it is a Stug actually, not a Panzer IV. So the TAs are Stugs, I believe. There goes the Vanatori Dekir, taking out one of the T-34s in the centre of the battlefield. We'll be able to take out the other one if it reloads in time. Should be able to. Can it fire off? Yes, it can. Take out another one. Will he get the trip? T-34 kill with the Vanatori Dekir. The Panzer IV-H take a snapshot. Doesn't quite get the kill, but the Vanatori Dekir with the Panzerschreck. No, actually not needed. The Panzer IV does the job, and another 3 T-34s get taken out for Nilla. So the T-34s are not doing the job for Nilla right now. He is still 13-11 up, but he has lost a hell of a lot of tanks. I think he had about 5 or 6 tanks in the centre ground that have all gone down. The IL-2KRs come in to strafe down the enemy anti-tank units, but not quite getting the kills. Quadri pushing up his Hotchkiss to try and cover the IAR as it pushes through, but I don't think he's going to get away with it. Yeah, the IAR goes down, but the Yak-9 may well go down to the following IAR and the Hotchkiss. Kisses coming in here. Yep, the Yak does go down, and the IL-2KRs are going to have to go back to base. They are pretty down on the ammunition, and Nilla actually calling a very early surrender 9 minutes 34 seconds into this game. We commented he lost a lot of equipment, especially those T-34s in the centre ground. He pushed hard, but he wasn't able to get the victory. Quadri does manage to hold on against Nilla's early aggression. Quadri gets the victory. Congratulations to him. Commiserations to Nilla. Quadri 1,100 kills to 600 losses. And Quadri wins both semi-final matches against Nilla and will proceed to the grand final to take on Gonzo. We are going to see all of those matches. It's a best of 5 between Gonzo and Quadri. So we're going to get to see, well, however many matches there are, but it's going to be a minimum of 3 matches next week. Possibly 5 in a best of 5 round in the grand final of the Steel Division League Season 5 Division 1 between Quadri and Gonzo. Let's have a look at the kills today. Well, it's actually a 1-page kill list. Although that's Nilla's kills. We'll look at Quadri's kills, just over 1 page. So a few more kills for Quadri today. And the stars, I think, were really these 2 T4 tanks. 1, 2, 3... 3 T-34s, so not an overwhelming number of T-34s, but a number of other equipment taken out by the T-4s. But you've got to say 2 tanks there doing a hell of a lot of damage for Quadri in this match. Other than that, the Vanatori Dekir did manage to snipe all 3 tanks, so it was all 3 tanks destroyed by the Vanatori Dekir. And wow, the trades, the value trades by that squad of Vanatori Dekir, or Dekare, not quite sure 100% how you pronounce that. I believe that Quadri is actually Italian, which is probably a closer pronunciation to the Romanian. It looks a little bit more like an Italian kind of word, so perhaps they're, closer related to certainly what English to Romanian is. So he's probably much better at pronouncing that unit name. But yeah, 3 kills from that unit. Very powerful destruction of forces by Quadri in that centre, and I think Nilla rushed through like 5 T-34s into that centre ground and almost enveloped the centre town, but I think Quadri reacted very calmly. I mean, he is used to pushing very aggressively and was able to soak up Nilla's hard push into the centre of the match, and yeah, really without too much thought, and well, I'm sure there was a lot of thought involved. I would say too much trouble, but Nilla is one to surrender fairly early on into games. I think Nilla definitely knows he knows at the point where he's lost too much to really hold on to a strong A phase push. His gameplay is all about, you know, the alpha strike in A phase. Pure first engagement aggression and A phase pushing power from Nilla. And if that alpha strike is not successful, if, you know, the first 10 minutes of the game goes heavily in favour of the other player, I wouldn't say today it was heavily in favour of quadriuu in terms of flags, but looking at the kills versus losses, you know, Nilla did get the flag trade. I think he was at a 59 for a little while in that, you know, in those 10 minutes, but he lost 400 points worth of units making that push, and certainly Nilla felt that that was too many units. So the surrender was called there, and I think he felt that quadriuu would have been able to just soak up any further aggression and come back later on in that game. So there we have it. Congratulations to quadriuu. A bit of a short game, but this was the only one available between the two players. I think there was an issue with the replay being corrupted in the other game between these two players. So quadriuu does go through 2-0 in the semi-finals, and he does face Gonzo in the matchup, the best of 5. So if it goes to it, we're going to see all 5 games, but we're not necessarily going to see 5. Who knows? It's going to be 3 at the minimum. You're going to have to stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and make sure you catch out the Steel Division League Season 5 Division 1 Grand Final next week. The tippity top of the mountain in Steel Division 2 terms. Thanks very much for watching. Leave your comments down below, and I will see you next time.